044 Teaching Music. Our approach considers that music education is crucial for children's all-round development. Clear examples indicating the benefits of music education are Finland and Venezuela. Detailed descriptions are available elsewhere, although a brief synopsis is given below. Finland. In Finland, children do not start school until they are 7, and understandably they are poor readers at that age. A considerable number of children learn to read music before they learn to read words. At 15, Finnish students are amongst the best readers in the world, and they also excel at mathematics and science. What has this to do with music education? The main reason why Finnish students receive an outstanding music education is not for any emotional or moral uplift, although this no doubt occurs, but because their educators regard it as crucial for neurological development. However, music is also regarded as essential not only for personal development, but also for cultural and civic sustenance. The results are there for all to see. Helsinki, a city of 500,000, is home to 5 symphony orchestras. Nationwide there are 21 more, as well as 12 regional opera companies. All this is occurring in a country of just over 5 million. At least 8 world-class conductors, including the Minnesota Orchestra's Osme Vanska and the Los Angeles Philharmonic's Esa-Pekka Salonen, were raised and trained in Finland. More than 30 full-time classical composers live and work there. 2/3 of a total 250 Finnish operas were composed after 1975. All this occurs because initially students receive an excellent music education. Venezuela. Throughout Venezuela, 250,000 children are spending 6 afternoons a week from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. intensely studying classical music. The system, or El Sistema as it is called, provides an instrument and music education for any child between 2 and 18. Each student is assigned an instrument and children are organized into groups with instructors. Typically practicing for 2, 3 or even 4 hours every day, Saturday morning, the children are performing recognizable music virtually from the time they start school. One of the most remarkable features of the system is that children begin playing ensembles from the moment they pick up their instruments. The principle is that students are learning to behave as much as they are discovering how to make music. As Igor Lantz, the executive director of the private foundation that administers the government finance system, says, in an orchestra, everybody respects meritocracy, everybody respects tempo, everybody knows he has to support everyone else, whether he is a soloist or not. They learn that the most important thing is to work together in one common aim. There are 200 youth orchestras and 246 centres known as Nucleos nationwide. The success of the system has resulted in continual funding from successive Venezuelan governments, whether the oil-rich country's economy is doing well or otherwise. Jose Abre, the creator of Systema, says in those cases it's not just the lack of a roof or of bread, it's also a spiritual lack, a loneliness and lack of recognition. The philosophy of the system shows that the vicious circle of poverty can be broken when a child, poor in material possessions, acquires spiritual wealth through music. Our ideals is of a country which art is within the reach of every citizen, so that we can no longer talk about art being the property of the elite, but the heritage of the people. And perhaps most importantly of all, an orchestra is the only group where people get together to reach agreements, and they reach those agreements producing something beautiful. Supported by the government, the system has started to introduce its music program into the public school curriculum, aiming within 5 years to be in every school and to double its enrolment to 500,000 children. Xavier Moreno, General Manager of the system, relates how it is doing far more than teaching children music, however much this is important in itself. We're interested in creating citizens with all the values they need to exist in society: responsibility, teamwork, respect, cooperation and work ethic. Many of the facilities are situated in some of the poorest barrios in the biggest cities, as well as far distant villages. Inter-American Development Bank, which helps underwrite it with a $5 million loan, is now advancing $150 million for the construction of 7 other regional centers. Luis Carlos Antler, a representative of the bank in Venezuela, says there are those that believe that classical music is for the elite. In fact, the bank has conducted studies on the more than 2 million young people who have been educated in the system, which shows that 2/3 of them are from poor backgrounds. Other studies link participation in the program to improvements in school attendance and declines in juvenile delinquency. Weighing such benefits as a fall-off in school dropout rates and a decline in crime, the bank calculated that every dollar invested in a system was reaping about $1.68 in social dividends. In Venezuela, everything is communal, everything is about the team. In the system, all practice is supervised. As Sir Simon Rattle, the principal conductor of the Berlin Philharmonic, observes, you will also immediately notice a different feeling among these children from the competitive individualistic atmosphere that prevails in the UK. The culture in Venezuela is one of mutual support. The point is not to be the best, but to be the best you can. The height of achievement for these children is to be part of the National Youth Orchestra, in other words, to be part of a group, an ensemble. In addition, Rattle says the system is the most important thing happening in classical music anywhere in the world. Conclusion. It is clear that there are considerable personal and societal benefits to students receiving a thorough music education, and we assume that the above information is more than sufficient evidence of the importance for this to occur. Tragically for children, the initiatives described above are the exceptions, so what follows are recommendations where those facilities do not exist. The approach we recommend also regards music education as crucial for children's development, and the following provides some guidelines as to the teaching of music education throughout the school. Children in grade 1 still want to imitate, and this can be used extensively to develop the innate musical sense that all children possess to some degree. The pentatonic scale is used as far as possible in grades 1 to 3. Initially the emphasis is on singing, but as soon as possible each child progresses to the recorder. Different tones and rhythms are experienced in movement, speech and singing and with the recorder. Later in grade 3, simple rhythmic patterns and some pentatonic melodies are written. Note reading and the staff are also introduced, and the students also have their first experience of harmony. In grade 4 there is a continuation of singing and recorder work. There is also some progression by some children to other musical instruments. Gradually there is some change of emphasis from a child-centered approach to subject-based, developing and nurturing musical experiences which are aesthetic and artistic. In grades 5-6 there is still emphasis on singing and recorder. In singing the students work with 2 or 3 part songs, simple harmonies, and the development of note reading are introduced. Many children will belong to junior orchestras or groups playing certain instruments. The approach we advocate that singing should occur in all grades throughout the lower school. In grades 5-6, students should be able to sing harmonies, perhaps even a few 4-part songs. By grade 7-8, each student should be able to play the recorder, and there may well be classes for beginners, intermediate and advanced. A junior orchestra may have been formed, composed of pupils playing strings, wind and percussion instruments. Gradually, but far too slowly for the many children in countries like the USA and UK, we are realising that music and art are crucial for children's well-being and learning. Countries such as Venezuela and Finland are showing that these subjects are not only crucial for balanced neurological development, but of enormous benefit to society. It is especially important for countries like Venezuela, where there are large numbers of poor, that it can assist, even determine that a child from the poorest background can realise his worth as a human being to himself and to society.